All right, cool. So the three things, one, two, three, four, actually five things. So there's five things in order for you, for us together, you and I, to have a great 2023 year, to have a great year next year. As you know, a lot of gym memberships are about to increase. A lot of goals are about to be or thought of. Usually people don't write their goals down, but a lot of people are thinking about the things that they want to do next year. So for me, this year, the past several years, I gotten with Michael Hyatt, which he talks about like with a planner and how to write goals down, and uh, all the way from smarter goals to habits and all these things that I don't want to touch on. But all that to say is I've had a lot of really great years based off of these five things that have helped me. But it come around every time around this time of year. I plan out my whole next year, and again, we just write plans. The Bible says, without a vision, the people perish. So we have a vision, and we also know that things do change. But without a vision, you ain't going nowhere. So we're still going to go. We're still going to write things down and move. But we also know that things may change. But that is a part of the five things that I have right here. So, number one thing that you need to do in your year is to dream. Just start dreaming right now. Dream about the things that you want to accomplish in 2023. Dream about who you want to be in 2023. Dream about the things you want to do, the people you want to meet, maybe the income you want to make, maybe the health choices. Come on, somebody, that you need to make. Maybe that's the vacations you need to take, or the rest you need to have, the amount of work you need to do, the amount of rest you need to do, time with your family, whatever the case is. But you need to dream and you need to think about those things. And yes, you need to create some goals, because goals are healthy. There's nothing wrong with creating a goal. The whole point of a goal is to just have a direction, just to have a direction for the choices that you make in life. So if you have a goal, which, let's say it's not a smart goal, it's just, hey, I want to be a loving husband. Like, that's a good goal. It's pretty vague, but because you at least have something in mind, if even if you go, I don't want to be like my dad, or I don't want to be like my parents, or whatever the case is, depending on the goals you make, is going to be on the actions that you take. And I'm actually going to write that down because that's like really good. so so don't mind me. But anyway, I put, depending on the goals you make. What did I say? Depending on the goals you make, it'll be is the action that you take. Yeah, sorry, I like that, so I wrote that down. So all that to say is, with goals, they're to help us with our daily choices. So for 2023, if you're dreaming about who you want to be or the things you want to do, get pretty specific on those. And there's several areas of our lives, right? You have your financial area, your marital area, your parental area if you have kids, your vocational, which is your job, your avocational, or your hobbies. So you have all these different areas of your life, and you also have your physical, don't forget that one. But you have to make a couple goals that are spread throughout those. So don't make all your goals on financial, in the financial domain. That's not going to do you very well. So, because you're not going to be healthy, and you're not going to have a good marriage, a good relationship, you're not going to be a healthy parent in some other areas. So we want to make sure that the goals we have are spread out through the different areas of our lives. So with that, I remember for me, when in 20, or no, it was 2021, December 2021, to plan for the next year. I made a goal to ride a marathon, a bike marathon, a cycle marathon. And I wrote down, I think it was, to do a couple miles, but it was actually a 30-mile race. So I signed up for a 30-mile race, and I had never, ever did a 30-mile race before. But because I had this goal, and because I knew what I wanted, and I knew what I wanted to do, and the sacrifice that I was willing to make, I knew that I had to integrate that into my weekly routine, so that by the time I got to the date, I would be able to successfully ride that race. Now, the sad story is, I did all of the training. I actually did 30 miles a few times, just practicing, training. And on the day of, I actually blew a tire. The day of the race, I blew a tire out on the track, or in the course. And I looked in my bag right under my seat, There was no inner tube. Ugh, ugh, I blew it. Yeah, that was awful. Anyway, somebody else helped me. They got me one, and but still, by that time, the thing was over. So it was a nightmare. All that to say is have a dream. Have a dream of what do you want to do next year. So that's number one is dream. Number two is focus. Say it with me. Focus. You are going to need to focus. Without focus, you are going to get confused and boggled down and saying yes to anything and everything that you probably shouldn't be doing. Now, it's not that these things aren't important, but these things are not toward the goals that you wrote down. So, without focus, you're going to be pulled in every single direction. And without focus, you're not going to be able to have the healthy life that you want because I have never drifted to success, right? I've never drifted to a healthier marriage. I've never drifted to getting work done. I've never drifted to rest. I've never drifted to success with my kids or whatever the case is. It's almost impossible. I'm not saying it's not, right? Okay, a couple times you're lucky, but you have to have focus, and focus will help you say no to all of the opportunities that come. Now, again, if you feel like you should say yes to some of those opportunities, then just rework your goals, right? It's not the end of the year if you say yes to opportunities that are outside of your goals. Maybe you want to be a little more risky. That's fine, but just make sure you count the cost of those things. So, make sure that you dream right now before 2023 or even at the beginning. And then also the second one, number two, is make sure that you are that you have focus. Focus. So dream and have focus. Number three is consistency. You need to have consistency. Now, this goes toward the things that we have to do, that you and I have to do with the responsibilities that we have, all the way from how we spend our time each day, whether that's with the minutes to the hours to the days to the weeks to the months, and then to the whole year. But the whole part of consistency, that is the time killer right there, because 5 minutes on social media can turn into an hour. A 10-minute phone call can turn into 2 hours. A 30-minute show can turn into an all-day binge session, right? which is okay. These things happen. But here's the issue is if it's happening time after time after time and day after day after day, then you're being consistent with that, then there's no way you're going to be able to hit the goals that you have. Now, life is more than about goals. But again, goals are the direction. They help us have a clear direction of the things that we want out of this life. So there's nothing wrong, again, with having goals or not having goals, but you need to have a direction, like for sure. Unless, again, you to drift. If you want to drift, that's fine. That's okay. Again, to be, it really, like, if we look at the life of Christ, Christ knew exactly what was going to happen. Christ was not surprised by the things that happened in his life because he already knew. But with that, it shows that God had a plan. Christ walked through and lived out that plan. So even when people had an immediate need, when people were sick, and Christ was already on his way to do things, he still used intention with the time that he had. He had 3 years and made one of the biggest impact in humanity in 3 years. As far as starting the ministry, walking on the scene, getting baptized. 3 years. So when we talk about consistency, it's about those daily choices that we make, those habits that we have. Are we making those choices? Are we making those choices every day to eat unhealthy? Well, then I'm not going to be a healthy leader because food affects my body. If I eat a whole bunch of sugar cookies, which I love, like, listen, my middle name is Cheesecake, okay? But if I am consistent with eating a bunch of cheesecake every day, then I'm going to be inconsistent with my effectiveness and with my health. That's just how it is. So that's one thing. So just make sure that we're being consistent in 2023. So we want to dream, we want to focus, we want to be consistent. We got two more. Number 4 is execute. We need to execute. You need to do the work. You need to get it done. Now, get it done and doing the work does not mean grind. I do not grind. I don't like that phrase. It is like grinding is for people that are ineffective in other areas in their lives. One more time. Grinding is for people who are ineffective at other areas in their lives. I don't grind in my marriage. I don't grind in my prayer life. I don't grind in reading my Bible. I don't grind in my time with God because I don't rush my time with God. But yet, I am consistent in my quiet time. So I can be consistent in my quiet time with God and still not grind. Does that make sense? So if you are grinding, quote unquote, which is fine, there are seasons. I think what people don't understand is that with grinding, it has to be in seasons. So there are seasons for me. I'm in ministry as a pastor. So there are seasons that are extremely busy to where we have a lot of events happening. We have a lot of people showing up. We have a lot of logistics. A lot of things are happening in a short amount of time. I do understand that. However, that is not all of my time. That is not every day of my life. I am not staying up till 1 a.m. working. I'm not staying up till 2 a.m. working. I'm not missing date night for work. And I'm not missing, time with my kids for stuff that I don't need to do. So all that to say is executing as a healthy leader comes in a way of with intention. Now, for me, as a pastor and as a full-time student in master's program, I also do consulting with churches, and I love doing this podcast, this channel, as far as helping people just be a healthy leader at work and at home, talking business and self-development. Like I love these things, and I get to do these things. But at the same time, I'm not grinding on anything. I'm doing a live stream because that's what I want to do. Like I don't want to set up all this stuff. I want to do a live stream. I want to record it. I want to record the voice. Boom, done. That's me. But it's still effective. So when we talk about consistency, when we talk about execution, just remember that you can get things done and you also can get them done without the cost of your health. So if you want to grind, go crush it. But while you're grinding, I'm going to be resting, and then I'm going to go hard for a couple hours, and then I'm going to be resting. It's the cycle. I've found out how I work best, and so you need to just find out how do you work best. For me in school in this master's program, I don't stay up till midnight working on school. I don't, because I've chosen from 7 to 9, usually several days, probably see like Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday from 7 to 9. Like I am going, well, Cal Newport, he calls it deep work. But there's a reason why it's called deep work, because what you do in deep work is you turn off your phone, you put some tunes on without any words, and you have a very clear list of things you need to do, and you do it for about 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours, actually probably 2 to 4 hours. And in that time where nobody's bothering you, you just get it done. It's incredible about how much stuff you can get done when there are no distractions. So I don't grab my phone at I'm usually somewhere hidden where nobody can find me, or my office door is closed and I don't want to be. I have a sign that says "Do not disturb." But in those moments where you got to execute, then do it. But if you're always on your phone or you're always multitasking, then the quality of your stuff is going to go lower. Now, you can have a high quantity of items if you're, quote, multitasking, end quote. However, the quality will probably not be as great as you can give because you are being pulled in several different areas. So, the last thing you need to do to have a great 2023, let me hit the list one more time. You need to dream, you need to focus, you need to have consistency, you need to execute. All right. And then number 5, the last one, probably one of the most important ones, is flexibility. You got to be flexible. Now, you probably did not think I was going to say that, but listen, here's the thing, and I've learned this in ministry. With these goals that we have and with the direction that we want to go in life, things change, people change, situation changes, finances changes, jobs change. There's a lot of change that happens. And when we hold on so tight and we can't let go of change, then we are going to fail. And then we're going to have regret because we're holding on too tightly. So you got to let go. Now, the reason why I bring up flexibility is because there were several goals that I wrote down In December of 2021, and throughout that year of 2022, the situation just changed. And there's only so much you can do. And did you know that some things in life are out of your control? Did you know that? Now I'm a perfectionist, so like that, I'm saying it for me too, right? I get it. But there are things in life that are just out of your control, so you can only control but so much. But when that happens, you have to take those goals, you have to take that situation, realign, be flexible, and then change it or eliminate it. It's okay to scratch out an area that you tried. You tried your best, and that's okay. The only thing you can do is to fail forward or learn from it and move forward. There was a few goals that I had to where it just wasn't working out. So like let's take the bike race for example. And I was crushing it, right? I was training, I was, doing all the things I needed to do. I was eating well, I was riding 30 miles, right? I went, 5 miles to 10 miles to 15 to 20 to 25 to 30. So I was breaking it all the way up to get to 30 miles. And then I did it twice before the race, everything that I needed to do. And then I got there, traveled 3-hour drive with the bike on the back of the car with my family, paid for the hotel, paid for the food. Get out there, blow a tire, don't do the most fundamental thing, which is make sure that you had a kit for the bike. And I'm out there on the side of the road with nothing except a very hard lesson to learn. And so, yes, I could have made, another goal to do that again throughout the year, but I didn't. I said, dude, I don't want to do that anymore. So all that to say is you got to be flexible. You have to be flexible. There were several other goals that I made that I didn't get to accomplish. Then there was another goal that I didn't have at the beginning of the year that I created in the fall. As some of you probably don't know, but when I was younger, after I graduated high school, I went into college, completely bombed my first year of college. Like I think I got a degree in Halo. I got a degree in video games. That's what my degree was in because that's what I spent all my time doing my first year of school. And I don't know if you know this, but it doesn't work out very well. So I completely bombed out of school, went to work, a job, and then years later, I was going to community college, and then I moved, and then I got the ministry, and then I'm still trying to finish school. All that to say is it took me a very, very long time to learn how I operate, to learn how I learn, right? And how I execute, how I dream, how I focus, how I can be consistent, how I can execute all these things. But all that to say is I went back and I got my degree. So I've got my degree. Actually, the same weekend as the bike race was my graduation. So my wife and I, we drove up to Charlotte, North Carolina for my graduation. Then from there, we drove a couple hours from there to Hilton Head, which that was the bike race. So I had a very intense weekend between a graduation and a bike race. However, what was not on my dreams for 2022 was to start a master's program. That was actually for years later. Hey, I've been doing this for a while. I'm done. Let me take a break. And then I heard about a program that I was interested in. I get a master's in organizational leadership. I love leadership. It's really fun for me. I'm very passionate about it. I'm pretty competent in it. Though there's no perfect leader, we want to keep learning and growing and things like that. So I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. So I called up the school at Anderson University. Like, hey, I want to apply. I want to join this program. So I joined it. And they're like, hey, school starts in about, I think she said school starts like next week. And I was like, wait, what? She's like, yeah, school starts next week. Do you think you can get the application process and all these things set up beforehand? And I was like, I don't know. I think so. Let's try it. And again, all that wasn't on my dream list at all. It wasn't on my goals. I wasn't dreaming to go into a master's program. However, I did. And I actually got in like 5 days with all of the paperwork and stuff done, which was pretty crazy. And I've just finished my first semester with 4 straight A's in a master's program with all the responsibilities that I have versus 2007, 2008 James, who completely bombed out of college with no job and no responsibilities. So all that to say is learning how to be a healthy leader has been a process for me, and it's been a process of flexibility. I've had to let go of a lot of things. I've had to change a lot of things in order to move forward in this life and trust God through my mistakes and through my failures for him to prepare me for the things that he wants me to do. And the same for you. Be flexible. How flexible are you for what could happen in 2023? So those are some things that I want to encourage you with. So the goal again is for you to be a healthy leader at work and at home. And for you to have a great year, for you to have one of the best years of your life in 2023. And the only way you're going to have that is if you dream about what are the things you want to do. And ask God, to God, what are the things that you want to do through me this year? And not only dream, but you need to focus. You need to focus on those things that God has called you to do. You need to have consistency by doing the actions that will get you those results. And then you need to execute. You need to actually do it. You need to get it done. And then last for number 5 is you got to be flexible. You have to be willing to let go if it's not working and change it up and be okay with that. Be prayerful, trust God, and move forward. I have failed a lot. I've been flexible a lot, and it's never done me wrong in a sense of learning that it's okay. It's okay to be flexible and just ask God to help you through those difficult times of transition. So, with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please leave me an email if you have any questions or anything you want me to talk about, or just what are some of the goals you have for 2023. Just shoot me an email at james@weloveoneanother.com. One more time, james@weloveoneanother.com. So shoot me that, and I'll check in with you next time. Take care.